Nuru, dark wings rise.
I've spent a lot of time analyzing and examining the minuscule details within Miraculous Ladybug. I may make mistakes occasionally, but I have a strong grasp of the series' lore and magic systems. That's why I was slightly confused while watching the season premiere. I thought a Kwami only gave their wielder a Kwagatama after they forged a meaningful connection and trusted one another completely. The need for a strong bond is why it took Tikki and Plagg 3 seasons to give their wielders these magical charms. It also explains why Alix already has one, as she has spent extended time with Fluff while living in her burrow and exploring the timeline. It caught me off guard when Tikki made a second one for Alya, giving her the means to connect with former wielders of the Ladybug Miraculous. It's true that Alya has used Tikki's Miraculous a handful of times and spends time with her every day, but that doesn't make her bond with the Kwami as strong as the one she has with Marinette. The scene leads me to believe that a Kwami can make a Kwagatama whenever they want, but they only do so when specific requirements are met and they trust their wielder with additional powers. If this is the case, then a Kwami can be coerced into making one as they ultimately obey the commands of their wielders. That said, if Lila learns about the existence of Kwagatamas, she could force Nuru to make one for her, connecting her to the knowledge of her predecessors. In today's video, I'll discuss the scenes we could see if Lila has access to the former butterfly wielders.
You'll forget everything you've seen, including the things you wrote in that notebook. So don't read it, and everything will be okay.
Number 1. Gabriel's return. I was genuinely stunned when Miraculous killed off Gabriel. I fully expected him to make the wish with Gimme and revive Emily, ultimately trading his life for hers. However, that wouldn't have been selfish enough to make sense for his character, so it was more likely that Natalie would pay the ultimate price for Emily's return since she was on her last legs anyway. Adrian also wouldn't have needed a surrogate mother figure in his life. Clearly, the series went in a completely different direction and Gabriel was written out of the 6th season. I'm still shocked that he left Adrian behind for the chance to reunite with Emily, but that shows where his priorities always lie. Fortunately, Gabriel's death doesn't have to be the end of his character if Lila has a Kwagatama. The magical charm allows a wielder to connect with their predecessors and have conversations with them. In Gabriel's case, his memory would have all of his knowledge leading up to his death, including vital information about the heroes, like Ladybug's identity, Adrian's origins, and much more. If Lila had a way to communicate with Gabriel, all bets would be off the table. There's no telling where the series could go, especially if he outed Marinette for being Paris's top hero. He could keep this information to himself to preserve Adrian's happiness, because he would receive nothing in return. He knows she's a liar and a schemer, so she must develop something compelling to make him an ally. With that in mind, Lila could come up with something to sway Gabriel to her side, and with his knowledge, she could become the greatest villain Paris has ever known.
What if you made the wish? You always come up with impossible solutions. You will be able to come up with the perfect wish that will repair everything.
Number 2. Hero predecessors. Gabriel isn't the only person Lila can connect with once she unlocks her Kwagatama. She could have access to every wielder who came before her, so long as they use the Butterfly Miraculous. The Order of Guardians didn't make it a habit to give Miraculouses to supervillains, so I suspect most of her predecessors will be heroes who gave their lives to protect the innocent. However, the Guardians do have a method to protect themselves from an Akuma, so there's likely a villain or two among the rest. Regardless, the past Butterfly Miraculous wielders are a goldmine of untapped potential. They would have knowledge, secrets, and unique skills that Lila could utilize to become the best wielder of them all. Her only barrier would be convincing them that she has good intentions. I doubt they would give her information if they knew how she intended to use it, so she must convince them that she's trying to protect Paris from her adversaries and has no ill will against the other heroes. Lila knows how to play others and commit to her lies, so manipulating her predecessors shouldn't be hard. The only thing she needs to do is prevent Nuru from tipping them off, something she could do by preventing him from speaking or speaking poorly of her.
The one you're looking for is here. Joan of Arc, known as the Scarlet Fate.
Number 3. Miraculous history. The series has touched on it briefly, but it's severely lacking in historical context for the Miraculouses. We know that the Ladybug Miraculous existed in ancient Egypt and that historical figures like Joan d'Arc and Lafayette once wielded Miraculouses during times of war. There are also instances of Kwamis using their powers and changing the world, such as Plagg killing the dinosaurs and Tikki turning rain into chocolate. These bits of information we've received throughout 5 seasons often come with little to no context. As someone who loves lore and connecting the dots, I desperately want to learn more about the history of the Miraculouses. I am confident that Lila would use her Miraculous for this purpose. She believes that knowledge is power, so she goes out of her way to learn about other people, including their routines, social circles, and hobbies. She uses all of this information as a tool to manipulate others and get what she wants. Knowledge of her Miraculous and those who came before her would only be more tools in her arsenal and give her an edge against her enemies. She could unlock secrets lost to time with a deeper understanding of the Miraculouses. I believe the Butterfly Miraculous has one of the stronger abilities compared to the others, so I would love it if previous wielders were only found during times of crisis or pivotal turning points in history, like during times of war or after natural disasters, where civilization could benefit from having more heroes with unique skills and abilities. The Butterfly Miraculous can do so much good, and I want that to be reflected in its history, as if its very nature opposes what Lila is trying to accomplish.
I was then entrusted with my Miraculous of the Ladybug to restore the balance, and I became its scarlet fate.
Number 4. New abilities. On the topic of new knowledge and uncovered secrets, one thing Lila will gain access to once using her Kwagatama is new abilities and powers. In the 4th season, Marinette and Alya realize that the Miraculouses have untapped potential unknown to their wielders. Everyone knows about their base power and primary skill, but there are other things their Miraculouses are capable of. For example, Ladybug can create lucky charms at random, but she can also create objects at will, like the magical charms that repel Akumas. If we assume that every wielder has any potential to discover and unlock new abilities, then there should be new power-ups debuting in the 6th season. Lila is no exception to the rule, especially if she has a Kwagatama. Her predecessors could teach her their unique fighting strategies, abilities, and preferred means of transmitting powers to others. In fact, Lila has already unlocked abilities that Gabriel never discovered. In Sublimation, she hijacks Sublimation and begins shooting anti-Kumas from the villains' goggles. These anti-Kumas take away someone's power when they are hit, which is exactly what happens to Cat Noir. However, the effects are reversed after Ladybug uses her lucky charm. Ladybug didn't seem too shocked by this development, so by this point in the narrative, she's likely encountered these anti-Kumas before. I suspect previous wielders of the Butterfly Miraculous used this ability to depower villains who threaten the innocent. Unfortunately, Lila has already figured out how to use it for the exact opposite. I suspect this is just one of many tricks she has up her sleeve, and that we will be seeing more of the Butterfly Miraculous's range in upcoming episodes. Hopefully, the heroes will discover new abilities of their own that will put them back on an even playing field.
I lost my powers!
While having a Kwagatama will make Lila an even bigger problem for the heroes, I do like this concept a great deal. Giving Lila access to her predecessors makes her incredibly dangerous for multiple reasons. I think it explains how she already has new abilities that Gabriel never managed to unlock despite having the Miraculous for the better part of the year. Lila learning from the wielders who came before her, especially Gabriel, would be a very strong subplot for the series to follow. Not only could it give the audience a chance to learn more about the series' lore, but it would also give us a chance to meet former heroes who used the Butterfly Miraculous for good. I would love to see Nuru interact with old friends who can remind him that his power once helped the world, not hurt it.
This is the end.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated on our uploads.
This, then a bit more of this, then